Nice. Oh, it's all good, Willie. It's all good, guys. It's all good. Yeah, 7 is enough. Yeah, no.
I see.
If only 7 was enough, but no. Wait.
Rows of monitor.
I have to rotate key again, right? Yes. Thank God.
It extends.
And now we have to open door B prime.
Now we can use the route to door B. Door D.
Open. Pretty sure it's this way.
Doors.
What if I try to open this?
Door B prime.
Wait, if I go here, it says door B prime? How? I'm not even in front of it. Fine, whatever.
Door B prime.
Going right across.
Door F.
Yeah, it's tackle. And then it's tackle the ladder.
The first floor.
That big door. If we.
Less than 1 minute.
An
Hurry.
Ready? Whoa! This somnium is awfully dangerous.
Hey,
Agreed.
that door. Maybe we can open that one now. Check it out.
A rusted metal door.
Doesn't matter. Open.
I'm going to open it.
Doesn't matter if it's like more time that we have left. Because it's the last one. Sosajima. Yeah, so she killed a lot of them. That doesn't tell us much though. It just confirms that she is the killer. Which we already knew, sorta. Our boss. She's our boss.
That's. Iba, return to the control room on the 3rd floor.
At once.
We don't have time. With what time? Renju killed Shoko. Iris killed Renju, and then Sosajima killed Iris, and she killed Sosajima. What? What? Oh my god.
What the hell is going on?
Tate, what are you doing? 6 minutes are up!
Wait! Hitomi is...
Date, you can't go any longer! Force shutdown!
No!
Yeah, she's at the other machine. She's at the other machine, which is in the abandoned warehouse. That's crazy, though. She brought Itomi at the warehouse. Or she was saving Itomi? Maybe So was about to go kill Itomi, or... I have no idea.
I took a look around your head, and I discovered something. Something about the new Cyclops serial killings.
So what if she was like going into the mind of everybody? She went to the mind of one of them to kill the other person, then she came back into her own body and so on.
Apart from Ota, there were 4 victims. Shoko Nadami, Renju Okiura, Iris Sagan, and So Sejima. Who was responsible for these murders? Shoko was stabbed by Renju with an ice pick. Renju was strangled to death by Iris. So cut open Iris's body, but who shot So? It was you. In other words, all of these murders were committed by different people. There wasn't just one killer. That's how it looks on the surface, anyway. But that's not the truth, is it? There's only one culprit, one person, and that person is...
I mean, it's obviously Boss. The choices are Renju, Iris, So, or Boss. So it's either it's Boss and she kept like swapping body in the entire time, or it's So and So is in Boss's body. It's one of the two. I don't believe it could be Iris or Renju. I'm gonna say it's you.
Yes, you. The person in front of me right now.
You're blaming the commander of Abyss for this?
No, not Boss. The person inside Boss's head.
Yeah.
Can you at least try to make sense?
All right, I'll explain. You know about the abandoned chemical plant in Kawasaki? There's a prototype sync machine there. You use that device to swap around bodies one by one.
In other words, the entire egg ends up being replaced. Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded, switched.
I don't know where it started, but at some point, you got into Shoko's brain. Then, you got into Renju's. And got rid of Shoko's body. After Renju was Iris. You strangled Renju using Iris. After that, into So, who you used to kill Iris and Ota at the cold storage warehouse. Now, you're in Boss's body, inside her head.
I see. If you know that much, then I have nothing left to hide. Yes, I am the culprit behind the new Cyclops serial killings. I guess you can call me the new Cyclops killer.
It's got to be number 89. Who was inside Iris during the interrogation Sunday?
That was me.
You imitate her well. From the way you talked and your body language, it was like the real Iris. Earlier, too, you almost had me fooled. Your imitation of Boss was perfect.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Let me define some terms first. A person's memory and sense of self. Let's call that personality. It isn't quite the right word, but it'll suffice. Now, transferring that personality into someone else's brain, let's call that parasitism. The one transferring is the parasite. The one being transferred into is the host. Are you with me so far? Moving on. Even after the personality exchange is complete, the host's memory isn't completely lost. About 1% remains in the brain. So, a parasite could use that 1% to imitate the language and behavior of the host. That's how I knew about the warehouse and Sunfish Pocket, by the way. Thanks to Renju and Iris's remaining memories.
Whoa. Who was inside Iris during the interrogation Sunday?
I'm telling you, it was me. Why are you making me repeat myself?
That means the Somnium I entered on Sunday.
That's right. It was me.
How? How does he know about the original Cyclops killer? And something else was troubling me.
What's going on here?
So we went into his mind and we were there too. So it's got to be number 89. Who the hell are you?
Saito. Saito Sejima.
Oh, okay, so the son of...
Congressman Sejima's son.
What?
I researched Saito thoroughly, but I cannot find any images of him on the internet. He is listed on the family register, but I cannot find any photographs.
Give me the details of each crime.
Before I do, there's something I want to hear from you. How did you know about the prototype sync machine? And not only that, you also seem to know what the sync machine is truly capable of. Why is that?
That's...
Regaining your memories, are you? Human memory is fractal. If you retain even a single piece of it, it's possible to recreate the whole thing. Pieces of memories are like roots that grow into every corner of the brain, gradually, slowly, taking its time. I imagine the same thing is happening in your brain right now.
A fractal is a figure with self-similarity. Allow me to explain. See this? Whichever fragment you cut, you will see a similar shape. The whole is made up of its similar parts. This is called a fractal figure. Memories in the brain are similar. That is what he is explaining.
Just like an idea. Inception.
He is claiming that from a few pieces, you can rebuild the memory.
I knew about the prototype from regaining my memory. Is that right? No, that's not it.
Parallel worlds exist.
Fine. I still have time.
Time?
You'll see. So, where do you want me to start?
It's just past midnight on Tuesday. Shuko was killed on Friday. If we think of that as day 1, today's day 5. What was Saito doing those days? I decided to ask him. Day 1.
Like you guessed, my personality was in Shoko, Renju's ex-wife. That made calling Renju easy. I need to talk to you about something. He came over without question. I think it was around 4 p.m.? I had him meet me at the chemical plant. I made Renju go to sleep, synced, switched personalities, and then stabbed Shoko's discarded body with an ice pick. I took Shoko to Bloom Park by car, using the old abandoned subway line. Must have been around 8 p.m. by the time I was finished.
When she transfers her mind into that body, what happens to the other mind? I thought they exchanged. So like by stabbing Shoko, she was actually killing Renju inside Shoko's body. But like where did Shoko's real self go? Into like Saito Sejima's body? Like,
I tied up Shoko to one of the merry-go-round horses. After that, I used Renju's phone to send a Nile message to Mizuki.
Mizuki Daddy got caught up in something serious. Yeah, remember that.
Then, I just waited for Mizuki to arrive.
Day 2.
Until next Saturday evening, my personality was inside Renju.
Oh, maybe it gets transferred. Maybe you erase it. Yeah. How can you remember all those unusual names? What do you mean?
My next target was Iris. I knew she would be suspicious if I asked her to come to Kawasaki, so I asked her to come to Sunfish Pocket first. I called her a little before 5 p.m., and she arrived just after 6. I greeted her, then convinced her to come with me. That's when Ota saw us. Anyway, I put her in the car, then headed to the chemical plant. On the way, I made her take a sleeping pill. I knew she might run once she saw where we were going. It was around 7 p.m. when I got there, and I wasted no time switching bodies. After getting Iris's body, I used a rolled-up apron to strangle Renju to death. Then I put his body in an empty oil drum I'd prepared earlier. I put that in the trunk of the car, then headed to Sunfish Pocket. But then, something I didn't anticipate happened. Waiting for the signal in Akiba, someone knocked on the window of the car. It was Ota. He asked me something about being able to drive. He was surprised, to say the least. I didn't have time to waste on him, but I couldn't risk him finding the oil drum in the trunk. Plus, if word got around that Renji's car was spotted driving around Akiba, that would foil my plans. So, I came up with a lie.
Jujubushi Show and Move Mutisenko. It's about as hard to remember as all of your Twitch names, chat. All of your Twitch names are very unusual names, and I can remember them.
I told him that I didn't have a license, so he had to keep it a secret. That's what that thing referred to in Ota's Nile messages, by the way.
Yeah, maybe Poot's getting old. That could be it.
And just like that, I managed to escape a bad situation and headed to Sunfish Pocket as planned. The rest went exactly as you already figured out.
Sunday
morning, I had a recording or some such thing scheduled. Oh, I am of course referring to Iris. I didn't want to draw suspicion, so I decided to attend as planned. I went to Lemniscate and performed my job, and when I left, I ran into you, Date. To be honest, I was a little surprised. Just the previous night, I was a parasite in the body of Renju. I didn't think Ota had seen me. So, of course, I didn't expect to see you there so soon. You were on to me, but there was nothing I could do about that. If I ran, it would only increase your suspicion. So I decided to play my role. The interrogation began around 8:20 p.m., is that right?
Yeah.
Then you synced into my mind. But you didn't get what you were looking for, did you? As a result, you had no choice but to release me. I didn't want to go home right away. I knew there might be police waiting for me. That would make it difficult to sneak out at night. And that would put my plan in jeopardy. So I asked you to take me to Marble. I tried to find an opportunity to run, but then another unexpected event occurred. I got a Nile message from Ota. I knew I could use him, so I told him I needed his help and to meet me at Marble. He did as I instructed him to do. After that, I got into the van with Ota, but because his presence was unnecessary, I asked him to stop at a convenience store to buy me something to drink. When he was gone, I took his car and drove to my parents' house where I used to live. Yes, the Sejima residence.
Yeah, that matches with like all the other timelines.
Of course, I knew I couldn't just walk up and ring the doorbell. Hello, Father, it's been a long time. I was also in Iris's body at the time. But I thought I could use that to my advantage.
I mean, she's also Tsujima's daughter, so...
So I pushed on the intercom and sure enough, my dad invited me inside. I told him this. I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you. He was quiet for a while, but eventually agreed and got into the van with me. We arrived at the prototype sync machine around 11:50 p.m. By the time I was in the body of Sosajima, it was a new day. This was yesterday, early Monday morning.
Twitch does not send my sad. I mean, I'm seeing the stinky cheese.
Past midnight. In my new body, I drugged Iris, put her in the van, and drove to a new location. Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. I arrived around 1, then prepared for the show for a couple hours. Of course, when I say show, I mean dismembering Iris. Because of the temperature in the warehouse, it took longer than I expected to prepare, but... well, you saw it in the video. Of course, I didn't anticipate Ota would show up. What does that make it? 3 times that brat has showed up unexpectedly? That annoyed me to no end, and I took that out on him. Dressing him up in the polar bear was an impromptu plan on my part. I didn't mean to make you think he was the killer. I just wanted to throw a wrench into the investigation. Didn't matter if you found out or not. This all happened Monday morning. I left the warehouse around 3:30 a.m. There isn't much to talk about on Monday. Before noon, I used my old man's body to call this one Boss. You might not know this, but she and my father go back about 6 years.
They do?
The two shared a terrible secret.
What?
Hinting at that was enough to get the boss to come running to me immediately. I injected her with a sedative, then brought her body to the chemical plant. I synced with her, exchanged our bodies. And after blowing my father's brains out, I cut his body into pieces.
Oh, and you put it in the vase.
The meat into a vase I'd brought earlier, then drove back to my house.
That's from like another timeline too. We saw that in another timeline. Yeah, that's what she says. Yeah, she can see their memories. Saito spoke with grace and no sign of remorse. I was trying to keep my anger from boiling over and kept asking him questions. Why didn't the sink victims resist after waking?
the prototype sync machine has a special feature. It administers a strong dose of sedatives to the original body, and a stimulant to the host after a sync. That kept them docile.
Why did you display the bodies the way you did?
To harass you.
Okay.
I wanted to bring out the hatred in you. That's why I called Mizuki to Bloom Park. That's why I streamed Iris's murder. Because they were important to you, weren't they? I wanted you to feel cornered, trapped. I wanted to punish you, Kaname Date.
Why did you take out your victim's eyes?
You know all about the prototype sync machine, don't you? That should explain it.
I knew. The prototype sync machine differed from the one at Abyss in a few key ways. The machine at Abyss is more sophisticated. Nano cables from the sync gear enter through the gap between the eyeball and socket. They then travel down the optic nerve canal to the brain. But the prototype sync machine isn't so advanced. To perform a sync, you have to remove the left eye. Manually. The subject and the syncer have to remove their eye from the socket. Otherwise, the cables cannot enter the brain. Of course, even with the eye removed, severing the connection to the brain isn't necessary. The extracted eyeball still has the optic nerve and blood vessels connected. After a sync, the eye is supposed to be replaced back in the socket. It's supposed to be safe, side effects are rare. Unless the nerve or blood vessels are damaged somehow, replacing the eyeball isn't too difficult.
Of course, I don't really care about eyes.
We already knew this from another timeline as well.
I don't need them. All I cared about was exchanging bodies with the sync. And for that, I needed to remove the left eye.
You would have preferred it to be a peen version of it? Like removing the peen? That sounds
Why didn't you just
terrifying.
put the eyes back when you were done?
That's obvious. Once I was finished transferring into a new body, the old one was of no concern to me. Why would I bother replacing the eye? I was just going to get rid of it anyway.
Where are the eyeballs that you removed?
Shoko's is in Renju. Renju's is in Iris.
In their belly. That's what she means. She fed them to them. I remember because we found the eyeball in one of the timelines. We found the eyeball of the previous victim inside the belly of the new one.
Iris's is in Dad. Dad's is in Boss. Their stomachs, I mean.
You sick bastard.
Yes, I ate them immediately after exchanging personalities.
How horrible.
What's your motive?
Homicide is my hobby. I have a tenacity for it, what can I say? Of course, it was also necessary to make sure people kept their mouths shut. If I took over someone's body, they would know about my crimes. I couldn't risk them reporting me, so I killed them. It was also a matter of revenge. Against you. It's personal. That's why I chose people close to you as targets. Well, except for my father, of course. That was personal to me, but don't ask. It's embarrassing.
Revenge against me. Hold on.